Hello everyone, Fate Maker here. I'm going to be showcasing a new Void build that is very powerful. You're going to be mainly using your grenades, your shield throw, your barricade to keep you alive. I hopped into an activity with a lot of enemies so I can show it off. As you can see, you're going to be getting your shield throws back pretty quickly. You'll be using a lot of Void weapons as well. Like I hopped in the middle of one. You're gonna be using your void weapons a lot. I will show the build after a little bit of gameplay, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But you will be causing a lot of volatile rounds. That's not a great start. I'm gonna put my barricade down. So you'll be basically putting your barricade down, getting your extra stuff in, mainly focusing the smaller targets first. You can also use a lightsaber as well, since of the weakening targets, just for the extra weakening, like I am. As you can see, it puts weakening on him. There he goes. As you can see, you'll be using your void weapons, void abilities. And lightsaber for weakening targets, and volatile rounds is also very helpful, as you will see on this sidearm. Very good this season. Also spawning void overshield as well will be spawning for you quite often. Not what we wanted. You see, we are causing weakening for everybody else. Which is very helpful. And this all consists of the second chance as well, which I will show later on. If I get some better gameplay of just straight up add density and not just the boss, obviously. It mainly shines in added density, not necessarily boss DPS. Their grenade, shield down, with shield throws, your void overshield that you can get. As you can see, I'm causing a load of volatile rounds all the time, as you can see here. I'll throw my axes down, get extra DPS. As you can see, we cleared this whole side in just a matter of seconds, honestly. Really does not take as much effort as you would think either. As you can see, I mean, I'm not even getting close to dying right now, just from barricade over shield. As you see, I got both my shields back already. Getting more of those. Okay, barricades back down again. Another grenade. Go back in. More volatiles, which gives me my shield throw back. I have to do another shield throw. Weaken him. Just like that. Another wave down over here. Yeah, no, as you can see though, just from that short little add density that we had there for a minute, this build can get pretty pretty nuts in a short amount of time. Get that void over shield up. Our barricade down again. And there you go. Some more ads going. I don't know. Well, the ads just kind of keep dying. I mean, you can use this also in end game content, early game content. It honestly don't really matter. A fun build to use. I mean, you don't want to use the normal, you know, what's currently meta, solar, arc, all that stuff. So if you don't want to use that and just want to do something different, this is always an option. But yeah, no, I think that's a decent amount. I don't want to waste your guys' time here on that. Let's see. Also, sorry if I sound a little loud or a little quiet sometimes. I'm still getting used to this new mic I had just got. An actual mic. I was before using a headset mic, so bear with me on that. Sorry about that. If it is loud, you guys may turn down the volume. Sorry about that. Still working on the settings, so work in progress. But so I will show off this build now. Okay, so we'll start out with the Praxic Blade. Okay, on the Praxic Blade, you don't really need to necessarily go full on in, but me personally, when I'm using this build, I'm really only pulling my Praxic Blade up to throw it. For the most part, unless obviously, as you saw, I'm doing boss DPS, then it's different, which is why I like the offensive form, because as you can see, landing through melee or attack, throw attacks, will grant ammo and also increase damage against bosses, as that's what I mainly use it for. This one, I just use impact still, and then I use the gyro for throwing, since I usually use it for throwing. Just gives it more damage, and also that's how I apply my own mental effect, which will, in this case for us, weaken the targets. And then I use Echoing Blade, so I can just hit more targets when I throw my blade. This is a very good sidearm you can use right now. Preferably use a void weapon to make most out of this build, so you're not relying just on your abilities. But the Compact Defender right now is very powerful due to its destabilizing rounds. Destabilizing rounds, if you don't know, will cause, as you can see here, defeating a target creates a void burst. Hitting other targets with this burst makes them volatile and grants your volatile rounds for an improved duration. What that does is basically when you're killing something, it explodes and it'll be void, and then it'll put volatile onto the other people or other targets. As you saw, they'll be kind of glowing purple, and then you can, you know, if you want to throw your shield, melee attack them, they'll just explode. Very powerful right now. And then another trait, this one doesn't matter as much, but it is very highly recommended, is thermal atomization, which says while at high heat, this weapon does increased damage and cause targets to explode when defeated, which just pairs very nicely with the destabilizing rounds, causing them to explode, and also the increased damage, since you probably won't be relying so much on this for heat. It shouldn't be much of a problem because it really don't take long to heat down, so, or cool down, I guess. But yeah, very solid primary weapon you can use here. Heavy, I do recommend a void heavy, possibly a void heavy machine gun, with destabilizing rounds as well on it. I currently do not have one, as you can see here, so I just use this for just extra DPS if I get into a bad situation, and things aren't going as planned. Artifact, you don't really need to go into anything crazy on here, because I mean there's really nothing crazy for void on here. I mean, you could put on maybe this for more weakening and give you devour. That could be an option. You could do something with your swords. That is personally all up to you. I personally did not move my artifact whatsoever. Armor mods, I'll get to the subclass last. So for armor mods, you're gonna want to run on your helmet. Your ammo finder, you don't really necessarily need to worry about so much. I more of have this just for my lightsaber, since I do throw it, which causes more ammo to be depleted. Harmonic siphon, so that whenever you get weapon final blows with a void weapon, sorry about that, it creates an orb of power. And then hands-on is a very good armor mod as well, since we are going to be getting more super energy on melee kills. And then also, I should have done this before this video, but I didn't. But also put on your stats. I recommend is going for what high weapon stat and high grenade stat, and also class stat. Sorry, those three stats are definitely what you want to get. So, stat, class, weapon, or grenade is what I would recommend. since that is your main abilities you're going to be using. Chest piece, I did not change anything whatsoever on here. If you want to, depending on your weapon choice, you could swap this for something else, such as your, I mean, you can do arc, ammo generation, void if it's a special weapon, or heavy. Those will work very well. I just kept this on for my lightsaber once again. You could change these damage resistance mods for whatever kind of content you're doing. Legs, so you want to use recuperation, which will replenish health each time you pick up an orb, which is very helpful for trying to stay alive if you do not have your barricade up. Insulation will reduce the class ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Again, that's very helpful for trying to get our class ability back as fast as possible. Innervation, which reduces grenade cooldown on each pickup orb. So basically, each of these will give us abilities back, essentially. Well, minus this one. This gives health back. But both of these will give ability, such as this one does the same thing as this, but this is for grenade. So basically, you will get your grenade back faster, because obviously we want to get our grenade back faster so we can mark more volatile as much as possible. Now onto the mark. Onto the mark, you want to use Reaper, which says, as you can see, shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. That'll help here with these two, since we will be using our class ability quite often. Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Also very helpful, because since we're going to be using our class ability so much, we should be getting our grenade back pretty quickly, because as you can see, it does reduce the cooldown for it. And then this is basically the same thing as Bomber, but Outreach reduces melee cooldown when using class ability. So when we're putting our class ability down, we'll be getting our shields back as well to throw constantly as well. So that is all the mods right there. I will leave that on screen for a few seconds just so you can look at it if you just want to pause the video and get a good look. Oh, I just realized I missed the arm. Sorry about that, guys. On the arms, we're going to be using, as I said, Second Chance, which gives you a second charge of your shield throw, and also they weaken the targets, creating a void breach on final blows, basically volatile. And then also if you throw them at just a little bonus, if you throw it at an anti-barrier champion, you can stun them with that, which is very also nice. And then also if you pick up the void breach, as you saw I was picking up for overshield, it'll give you shield throw energy back as well. But I use melee kickstart, which collecting an orb of power causes you to gain 1 temporary charge, which is very helpful. Impact induction causes damage with a powered melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown. So basically, when we're throwing our shields, we'll be getting grenade cooldown back as well. And then bolstering detonation grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. Also a very helpful mod, so that when we're using our grenade and we're getting damage, we're getting our class ability energy back as well. Very helpful again. Okay, now that's the mods for real. Next, we are going to be moving on to the subclass. Okay. For the subclass, you will be using Twilight Arsenal, because, to be honest, either of these aren't really useful, because you just want to get that extra weakening and explosions. As you can see, that's what this causes. And also, I believe, obviously not this one, but has obviously the less cooldown than this. So, honestly, you don't really need Warded On. But if you want to use that, you can. But I recommend this just for the weakening and explosions. And then you want to use Rally Barricade just because it's faster and you get a faster cooldown. As you can see, 55 seconds for me, 1 minute and 41 seconds for me due to my stats. I use Strafe Lift. These do not matter. It is whichever one you prefer. Shield Throw is what we're using, obviously, because we are using the Second Chance exotic, which gives us 2 shields. But this will basically make it to where you get an overshield from each hit, and also you just throw it. Not much to say about it. Vortex Grenade is what I personally use, because it obviously will help with the aspect later on, as you will see. And also it causes weakening. Defensive Bulwark. Your grenade, when you have an overshield, your grenade charges way faster. And also you have a much longer melee range and damage, which is very helpful. And also whenever you get melee kills, it gives you overshield, which is very helpful. And then Bastion, cast your super to grant overshield nearby allies. So whenever this is the main thing that helps with this. This is what you need in order to place your barricade and get a full overshield off the bat. And it also gives it to your allies too. Very helpful. Onto the fragments. So you want to use Echo of Provision, which, as it says, damage targets with grenades grants melee energy. So this basically helps with the mod we had put on earlier. It will basically give you more melee energy the more you do damage with your grenades. Echo of Harvest defeats weakening. Defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power and a void breach. Also very helpful. This is what we get in order to get extra overshield when we do not have our barricade. And since we're going to be weakening them all the time, it should be pretty easy. And also we get an orb power for more energy for our grenade and class ability and our melee. Echo of Undermining. Your void grenade weakens targets. Again, we need this so that we can make our grenade weaken the targets. And since it pulls them in, it just makes it easier. Again, that's why I like using Vortex. And then Echo of Exchange gives you plus 10 melee as well. Oh, and this one also gives you plus 10 grenade just for the extra. Granted, it just kind of evens out with this one. But anyways, melee final blows grants grenade energy. Again, very helpful. Basically just you use your shield and then you get more grenade energy. So basically you should have abilities coming in at all times. So it's a very helpful build here. I think a lot of people will like this build. But no, that pretty much sums up this build. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope you guys all had a great Christmas. And we'll be back to regular upload schedule. Have a good one, guys. See ya.